You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the December 15th, 2022 meeting of the LaPorte County Council and Commissioners Joint Workshop. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right, we're going to call the council joint council commissioner workshop to order at this time. Our regular meeting is going to start at 6 o'clock, so we'll do the pledge and everything at that time. So the purpose of this workshop is to talk about the commissioners request an additional appropriation for the liability claims not to exceed $305,000, professional consulting not to exceed $55,000, and professional services account not to exceed $75,000. Let's see if she wants to.
So we have Diane on Zoom. If Diane would like to explain, and maybe I can go through some of the stuff as well. Can we unmute Diane?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Diane.
Good evening. Hi.
So it was my understanding that we need the 305, and that would be for an insurance payment that came in at the end of this year, but it actually applies to insurance for next year. And then the $72,000 that we were off on, you guys were off on the accounts, is that correct?
I believe I received an email. I don't know if John Jones is there.
He is.
That we will have to pay a first installment. It's possible that this first installment, even though it's for next year, is due this month.
Right. And
Mr. President, John Jones, Michigan Insurance, I can address that because that, now that I know which direction she was talking about, that is for the renewal for the work comp, which renewed at a considerable increase, I might add, December 7th. But I really don't expect that we'll need to pay that this year. I mean, it is technically due, but by the time you get invoiced, it'll probably be after the first or close to that. It can be paid this year, absolutely, because it's technically due, upon effect of that policy.
Let me just double check. If we do not approve this tonight, it won't get paid until there's a delay in paying the bills after the first year, correct? Yeah. So by approving that portion of that tonight, that would allow it to be paid in January?
You start,
Shortly thereafter, sometime.
shortly thereafter. What it is that we thought it had to be due now. That's the reason I put in the extra $200,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it quarterly?
It's quarterly billed, and you have not received that invoice from our office yet. And I did, Diane's correct, though, that I told her, I could see that invoice. When I see it, I'll forward it. I haven't seen it yet from the carrier. I don't expect that it would be a problem to pay it after the first year, but technically it is this year's bill. Does that answer that?
It does.
okay, so Diane, we still have 71,000 or 72,000 that fund was short.
It's paid quarterly.
I believe it was about 55,000 is what we had figured out. About 55.
And then how about the 75,000 for professional service account? Is that separate?
Well, I've spent the last 3 days putting these pages together for you guys to see exactly what all went out in every one of these accounts, what has been spent, what I started the year off with, what's budgeted, and then everything that's come in and what I've paid out.
But to make you whole, we need the 55,000 plus the 75,000, correct?
55,000 for your professional consulting services, 75,000 for the professional services, and then the 55,000 for the liabilities account. But Vaughn is correct. When I received that email from John Jones, we scrambled at the last moment to include that amount in case this carrier wanted the payment in December. That was on the bigger one in the liabilities claim.
So if we approve 130,000 tonight, the 55,000 for the professional consulting services and the professional service account of 75,000, that'll make you whole.
It should be. It should. I still have some invoices sitting on my desk. Well, you can look at, if you have, I gave Vaughn the pages today, if you have the paperwork, you should be able to see that when, look at the 30065, the $88,000 at the beginning of the budget. Look at how much we paid to Baker Tilly. $56,774.68. That's look at SDH, the very last item on that one, at that the top portion. That's $47,321.56.
Okay, but Diane, what we're looking for is a number to make that office whole right now, so we can zero out and know that we paid all the bills with the exception.
If I do not turn in any invoices that are sitting on my desk right now, then yes, that should cover it, because those are the amounts I gave to Vaughn.
So, but we still need to do, are you saying not to do the 305?
Well, she's saying
The
see, I was going to take
liabilities account, we needed 55,000. We
Okay.
added the additional one anticipating what John just spoke about. I
So-
needed 55,000 for liability, 55,000 for the professional consulting, and professional services was 75.
So right now we need 185,000. And that'll pay up all the bills that we have outstanding today.
That's
Correct.
55, 55, and 75.
And you will be getting an invoice probably tomorrow for $2,552. That's for a storage tank liability policy that renewed, or is December 7th effective date. $2,552.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we not exceed over 200,000, and that should cover that bill as well.
Devin?
What?
No, hold on just a second.
It'd be
185 plus 2,000, we'd be at 187, 188.
2552, yeah.
I'm looking at the second page to see if I had added that yet or not. I think the aviation drone was the last item that I added from Michiana Insurance. Okay.
Yes. Mr. Yagowski.
Thank you. Questions, LaPorte Occupational Services, $9,340 for wellness days. Shouldn't that be under something else? Why are we taking that professional consulting services? Shouldn't it be under medical? Did you hear me?
Diane, can you hear?
I can hear you. I did not quite hear what Mark said, and I do
Sorry.
apologize.
Sorry, it's okay. The $9,340 for wellness days, LaPorte Occupational Services, why is that under professional consulting? Shouldn't that be under medical?
Which one again?
The LaPorte County Occupational Services, $9,340 for wellness days?
Yep, we pay that. We pay that as a professional service. We pay that.
Okay, so what was the new, sorry,
Is
go
there a
ahead.
different account that I should be taking that from? Because we looked at it as a professional service.
I'm just asking, it's okay. So New Avenues, that's a monthly service for employees for HR. I know that we budget that money. Why is that coming out of I'm sorry. I thought, didn't we actually we have money that we budget for the HR. Why is the New Avenues $3,000 coming out of the consultant?
I've always paid that. They've always given it to me. Barb Mossman would always give that to me. That's for EAP services that the employees use.
So we always put that in the budgetary for their,
It'd be part of insurance.
okay.
It's all paid out of the commission.
And my last question, you have SEH, both for the professional consulting of 47,000, and you got it also for the professional services. What SEH for auditor? What is that for? Treasurer.
whenever I would get the SCH bills, the invoices, wherever I could take the money from either one of these accounts. If I had the money left, then I would pay them out of there. Sometimes the invoice would be work done for the auditor. Sometimes the work would be done for the treasurer.
They help us with the budget, our budgetary work, and
But one's under consulting and one's under professional services.
Well,
How do you know?
again, I guess I just took it wherever I could pay it.
So this, and I understand what you had to do, but this is the problem I had with these budgets, that they always they take the money out of different directions. The commissioners do. That's not, she only directed.
Right.
And then at the end of the year, we're out of money because of that reason. It's not because we're out of money. We're not taking it out of the proper areas in the first place. And again, this has nothing to do with you. This is why I asked for the meeting, because of this. And this happens every year on this time of the year, that they're asking for the money.
I say we have another meeting right after the first year.
So it's up. I mean, it's up to the council. That's quite a bit of money.
Right.
We're not floating like $3,000-4,000. That's $80,000 you're talking about. $150,000.
Yeah, almost 190.
Yeah, you're right. 90,000.
Is there any other questions or comments for the workshop?
So again, that same question on it. So the amount of 305, when it was given to us, we were not given enough information on it. So the reason why I asked for this meeting was also because of that.
Yep.
So we have some. Sorry. Sorry.
Everybody,
But now
please
this-
quit.
Yeah, I know, I will.
Galsky at this point.
So
This is still gonna carry over to next year because again, that
I don't have a problem with
insurance
that.
payment,
I don't know. Last month, we were not given any information on that. That's all I'm saying. I don't disagree with you.
right.
Last month, we had zero, 305,000. Where did that come from?
And the other thing is we would like to, we had originally, Mr. Yagowski originally requested an exec session to talk about some personnel issues.
That are under this.
And we would like to schedule that sometime in January because
It's so.
this did not meet the criteria for that. That part of it does.
So my last statement is, I was asking questions with John Jones, met with him. So he has a pamphlet out here. I know this won't be solved today. I'd like to have just a real quick explanation what they could do for us. You know, don't have to be more than just a couple minutes.
You want to do that? You want to?
Sure.
2 minutes.
By way of explanation, the pamphlet that I gave you is our renewed effort to double up on risk management where the work comp insurance is affected. So on your left-hand side, and I can also send you an email that kind of gives you an overview of what I just handed you. This is not anything to take action on. This is just to apprise the council and commissioners of what the efforts are. And I've worked a little bit and talked with Commissioner Haney about this, and I know Mark Yagelski has contacted me and invited me here tonight, in fact, to discuss what some of the efforts are, like he sees at the mills when there's light duty and getting people transitioned back to work. So you'll see a lot of language in here about transitional duty programs. On the left-hand side, you see the BIDCO, which is the current carrier, but I'm entertaining all the way to the second quarter of next year other proposals from work comp carriers that can come in and aggressively work with the county, but it's going to take commitment on the county side. You'll see an agreement on the right-hand side there, transitional duty program agreement, that they're asking for buy-in from the county to institute some of these programs that they have to get people back to work, to reduce the indemnity part of the work comp by shortening the amount of time that they're out, and what has to be reported and what transitions into a experience modification factor. That we're at 1.63 right now, and that's extremely high. So the last 2 years, we've done well over the last 10 years in work comp. In fact, having some years that went down or held steady. But in the last 2 years, we've had some sharp increases, and we need to take serious attention to a cooperative between the carrier and the county, HR and other officials to try to institute more programs countywide, where there are some programs now, like out at juvenile, they have some light duty where they observe the juveniles from a pod and things like that. It transitions people back to work quicker. You'll see Key Risk, they're going to be a real competitor in the next quarter here. interested in the business of the county for work comp, and I like what I see. I've seen great reviews from them about employers enjoying that relationship with them. And they've got several programs that you'll read about, Virtual MD, where they've got a 24/7 board certified emergency physician who takes a call. Once we come in and train the managers and supervisors of the county, the employees can make that call to this emergency board certified physician, who will then direct them and triage them and encourage them to either go to the doctor, go to the convenience clinic, or perhaps go to the emergency room. But not everybody will go straight to the emergency room. That triggers an immediate claim being filed through the work comp carrier from that physician call. So there are a lot of really good things that Key Risk is offering, and I think that their price point is going to be competitive and save us some money as well. But you know, they've got skin in the game, if you will, as much as we do. You know, they want to be profitable. They don't want to lose money after they promise to cover the county. So they're asking for buy-in, which I'll talk to you more about perhaps in the workshop that the president mentioned in January, and to the commissioners about some of that cooperative initiatives that we want to engage in.
Definitely.
Thank you. And so the last thing is that John and I and Earl met because we go over the budgetary process today, our budgets, I'm sorry. And Randy, if you just really quick give a scenario, a little drop down of what Michigan State has been able to do that we can't, you know, that they were able to, some savings. You mentioned that they have some of these programs already in place. Or,
So, like at the fire department, I mean, we had light duty. So, I mean, if you got hurt at work, if you could stand, sit, or do anything, we'd bring you into light duty and you were filing and doing something in the office. We found work for you to do, so you weren't sitting at home and just collecting workman's comp. I mean, you're actually there doing a service. And the other thing is between HR and the insurance carrier, they were on these people, and I mean in a good way. They were following up, communicating with them, and you know, if somebody says, "Hey, I can't work because my doctor says so," but you know they hurt their arm, and my instance is with the fire department. So you know they would follow up with them and look at the doctor's thing and say, "Hey, you can report to light duty."
It's actually been shown that the employees, it benefits the employees. The employees appreciate your concern for getting them back to work. So those, as you said, those light duty programs have been well received by the employees and the employers.
Right.
And it equals cost savings for the employer in the end. You'll see the third handout down on that right-hand side is a sample transitional duty task for a police officer that they've sent along. And they'll help develop some of these sorts of things. So we don't have to go in and change job descriptions and be that proactive on this end. We can react somewhat to those who are affected by work comp in developing things that they can do, but it has to be thought of countywide, not just in a couple departments.
And with the county, it's much more, it's broader. I mean, we had probably a 5-page document we'd send to the doctor, and he would look through it and say, "This is a job description. Can they do this?" Or then we had a light duty description. "Can they do this?" And the doctor would you know sign off on it. So
Key Risk, in fact, for many of their clients, they have a program. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. Something Solutions. But they partner with local folks like the American Red Cross or Goodwill, and if you do not have light duty, if it's just impossible, they sometimes send those employees there to do, you know, desk work, and the employer pays them while they're there. But it still proves to save money in the long run by getting them back to work.
and how this whole thing started is at the mills, we have like, you know, roughly 5,000 employees. So we have a group that are hourly in management, and they actually go through the cases case by case. And that's what the committee does. A lot more people, of course, but still. So John goes, well, basically they have the same program, and that's why he brought
The front page for Key Risk, and I feel like they may be one of the winning bidders on this proposal. They're asking us to sign this transitional duty program agreement. I've wrote an addendum behind there because there's 6 items on there that you're not going to understand. So I've tried to define those for you. So when you can't sleep tonight, there's plenty of reading here that you're going to really enjoy. And that's my Christmas present.
you're going to
Thank
be
you.
available for questions at 2:00. Yeah, I'll text
Until 3, probably.
you.
Well, we've got your numbers.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments for the workshop? If not,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
want to just make sure we understand this. Combined budgets for the commissioners was $1,724,761. They're over that budget by $750,000, which is 43%. And 2 weeks before the end of the year, we're getting hit with this all at one time now. The sheriff's department was gonna go way over too because of gas prices. But he didn't wait until December 15th. He came in August and September and said, we're gonna need more money to finish the year. Here we finished the year, but now we gotta make this big adjustment at the very end. I think that, as we sit here this evening and Commissioner-elect Grammarosa is sitting at the other end and we're only gonna see her in a different light next year, we would ask that this not continue to be the procedure from the Commissioner's office. Some of this they could have predicted in August and September, obviously. Let us know, we're gonna need another couple $100,000, or we're gonna need 300,000 or whatever.
But my concern is that we're gonna carry over close to 200,000 onto next year that's not already budgeted. So going into the new year, the commission is gonna be shy 200,000 already. So I want this council to be aware of that.
We're well aware of that, because we're sending you there.
we'll make a note of that right now. All right,
Be blaming the new commissioner, right?
nothing else for the workshop? We're gonna take a brief 2 to 3 minute break, and then we're gonna reorganize and start our council meeting.